Hi everyone! If you are a business owner and you are interested in getting products from China, today I'm going to talk about 5 tips that may give you some guides. Here is our topic today, 5 essential tips to help you source from China. The first tip here is spend time looking for the right supplier. The second tip is verify suppliers. The third tip is remember that quality is directly proportional to cost. The fourth tip here is be clear in communication. And the last tip is quality control inspections. Let's start from our first tip. Spend time looking for the right supplier. Many of you may already be familiar about using Google, Bing, or Yahoo search as a starting point. There are also some online sourcing platforms such as Alibaba, Global Sources, and Made in China, which connect buyers to suppliers. While all these resources are useful for you to draw up a shortlist, it is important to remember that many businesses thrown up by these search engines or sourcing platforms may be resellers and not manufacturers. For some products, sourcing from a middleman may be okay, such as toys, clothes, or cheap electronics. But if you want to get products that meet specific technical requirements, such as die casts, metal stamping, and plastic injection molding, it is still best to communicate with the manufacturer directly. Most importantly, this can reduce your costs. After this, the question you may have is, are the suppliers reliable? You may notice that some online sourcing platforms also rate their suppliers, which could also help you in the shortlisting process. Alibaba, for instance, gives its suppliers gold ratings, which purchasers see as a sign of trustworthiness. However, it is important to remember that any supplier who pays Alibaba an annual fee for premium membership can get gold supplier status, which increases the vendor's visibility on the site. So, although you can use the rating as a reference, it is not exactly a very trustworthy reliability indicator. Then the second tip is verify the suppliers. Once you have your short list of the suppliers, you need to verify their credentials. Besides those obvious information online, you need to evaluate 2 main things. First, whether they are indeed the factory and not a middleman. Second, whether they have the technical expertise and production capability to deliver what they say they can deliver. There are many ways you can do this. You could ask the factory for its audit accounts, check its value-added tax invoice, ask for product samples. You could also identify the factory's Chinese name, its location, and the local government office under whose jurisdiction it falls. This office will have the factory's registration records, which you can also use it to verify the details they have provided to you. Next, the third tip, quality is always directly proportional to cost. We all know that one of the primary reasons that people look for suppliers in China is the low manufacturing costs. Even with the add-ons of shipping charges and duties, the price will still end up being cheaper than sourcing from elsewhere. While you negotiate the price with potential suppliers, it is useful to remember that all manufacturers have a price floor. What is the price floor? The price floor here means the minimum cost for manufacturing the product. The key point here is having an idea of what this price is very important. Do some research about the product, including the cost of the raw material and the market. Ideally, do not choose suppliers who offer you a price way below the common manufacturing cost. Second, When you have huge orders, this price flaw could be a reference for you to beat down the price even further. In both cases, remember, if suppliers go below their minimum price thresholds, it's gonna have an effect somewhere. Since suppliers need to save that money from somewhere, it could be a reduction in the quality of raw material or conditions of manufacturing. They could also bypass some steps in the quality control process. No matter what, you don't want this because in the long run, it affects not only your product but your reputation and could even have legal implications. The first tip, always be clear in communications. When sourcing in Asia, keep in mind that there is a language and culture gap. Millions of cases prove that many of the problems between suppliers and purchasers were due to the misunderstanding in communication. Usually, understanding what was said is not the same as understanding what was meant. If you keep this in mind, you can certainly avoid costly mistakes and so one suggestion here is put all your requirements in writing clearly and in a detailed manner, from product specifications to quality and type of packaging, etc. Ideally, do not leave space for the supplier to make any assumptions and encourage them to ask you questions if they are not clear about something. Lastly, remember, quality control inspections are always important. While having a good manufacturing agreement is a good way to make supplier produce products up to your standards, regular quality control inspections are still very necessary. This prevents costly mistakes in the future. Research has shown that problems caught later in the production process will always cost more than those caught earlier. While these 5 tips are a good starting point for those inexperienced in the business of sourcing from China by yourself, there are some global sourcing agents such as Supplier can take care of a lot of the research and due diligence outlined above. Supplier has a team in China that guides purchasers through the process of getting codes, evaluating factories, managing the complexities of communicating your manufacturing requirements, quality control inspections, shipping and transportation, administration, and most of all, ensure the goods arrive at your desired location. Thank you for your attention. If you are interested, here's our contact. You are welcome to visit our website or contact us to ask for more details and questions.